Hey everybody, it's me, Kai. Man, it is time for a new life astrology video. And of course, we are in the sign of Aries this month. And of course, it is from March 21st until April 19th. Aries, they are considered natural born leaders. So we're going to be talking about their journey today, the journey of the Aries. Now, they are ruled by the planet of Mars. And of course, their sign or symbol is the symbol of the ram. And the Aries, their symbolization of the ram is because it charges its opponents and it's unafraid of button heads. So when we think about the sign of Aries, we think of everything with regards to the head. So like they're headstrong and they do things head first. So keep that in mind as we begin today talking about the sign of Aries. Now, who is the Aries? The Aries, their archetype, and when they're in a high vibration or they're in their enlightened stage, they are trailblazers. They are the heroes. So when we think of Aries, of course, they are the first sign of the zodiac. So of course, they would be the trailblazers. They would be the heroes because they are out the gate first. Now, when they're in their low vibrational or their neurotic stage, they are the fighter or the child. And again, because when you think of children, they are usually in that first embryonic stage or that first stage of life. They're usually like childish. So when they are in that low vibration, that's a part of their makeup or their characteristic. The Aries, the gifts that they have are initiative, decisiveness, willfulness, straightforwardness, and leadership. The things that they struggle with most are selfish, brashness, impatience, impulsivity, and intolerance. Now those things, again, because they are the first sign, you think of the first child, usually they are more selfish. You think about them being brash or impatient because they're probably used to getting things their way. That nature of being impulsive because it is the first sign and it is in the first house, and that's usually the sign in the house of the self. So it also makes them, selfish in that manner as well. And they also are intolerant as well. Now let's talk a little bit about the Aries personality. The Aries always speaks out. This is so true. I have a little nephew who is 7 years old, and he is brutally honest and he speaks his mind. He's 7. And it's amazing to see. And I'm so happy that my niece doesn't, stop him from saying certain things, because that's a part of his character. And we don't want to, shut him down and make him feel like he can't say those things. So I'm really happy that she's not doing that. She is allowing him to be that way. So again, the Aries, they always speak out. They are straightforward and honest. And he is, like I said, brutally honest. What you see and hear is what you get. Aries is headstrong and dynamic and natural born leaders. Now remember, I said that they were symbolized by the ram, and the ram always does things. They butt heads, they do everything with their heads. So that's why they are headstrong. They have an enormous energy and draw from the well of eternal optimism, and they move on charging through life. Again, it's that whole symbolic ram archetype. They are also assertive, idealistic, and driven by a powerful ego. Of course, they're driven by a powerful ego because, again, they are the first sign. And so they have that Mars energy. Remember, they are ruled by the planet of Mars, and Mars is that whole fiery energy. They can also be self-centered and competitive. Their goal is to win in every competition. So if you're in competition with an Aries, please know that they're going to win. By hook or by crook, they are going to win because they are very competitive and they will win at all costs. Aries have an independent nature and prefer to tackle things without the help of others. They're usually not team players. So most often they have an independent nature and prefer to do things alone. Let's see here. So let's talk a little bit about the journey of the Aries. Their journey is to become the selfless leader. Because remember now, when we're talking about them, their sign, they're selfish. So their journey is all about becoming selfless leaders. So we also talked about just a moment ago how they're very independent. And so you can't really lead effectively, although they are leaders and they're born leaders. You can't lead effectively if you don't have some type of selfless tendencies. So the sun in Aries is about warriorship. Now, again, they are ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars is all about being the god of war. So, of course, Aries is their journey is going to be all about that warriorship. So the journey of the sun in Aries is to blend their self-confidence with patience and altruism. Now, spiritual growth comes from recognizing that the Aries creates karma with each action that they take. Because they're always quick-witted, because they're quick to do things, and they're innovators and initiators, a lot of times they don't think about what it is that they're doing and how it's going to affect other people. Now, I really want you to really pay attention to this, because even though you might not be in Aries, you might have planets in the sign of Aries in your chart. And this will also help you understand why you are a certain way, or why you are impatient in certain areas of your life, or why you are kind of selfish in certain areas of your life. Or impatient again. Now, spiritual growth comes from recognizing that the Aries creates karma with each action that they take. So once they begin to slow it down just a bit and say, how is this going to affect me? How is this going to affect other people? And if it's not going to affect themselves or other people in a negative way on the back end, then they can go head on with it. But they have to learn how to do that. And once they do, that spiritual growth is what happens. In order to become the selfless leader, the Aries must develop restraint and consideration of others in order to master his or her warriorship, because that's what it's about. Like, it's all about being able, the warriors, although they are down for war, they're ready to go to battle, but their greatest strength lies in them being patient and them being able to master how to be selfless and have restraints. Because if you don't have restraint, you're all over the place. You're creating fires and battles all over the place. And sometimes they're not need to be. Sometimes you can just say things with just a word and it would be able to, show yourself strong. It's all about that restraint. And once Aries learns how to master that restraint, they are powerful beings. Out of stillness and strength rather than mindless action, true confidence will arise out of the Aries. Again, it has to do with showing restraint, being able to have that stillness, and being able to have that strength in that stillness, and not create mindless actions, and having to deal with the karma from those things. So that is the part of the journey that they must learn in order to become a selfless leader. One of the life lessons on their journey is about finding inner peace. Now, when we talk about the warrior, you think about those people who are marksmen and anything. Even you think about your jujitsu, your people who are in karate and things of that nature. You think about Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, for that matter. They had to master an inner peace in order to be able to be the best warrior, so to speak. And so again, one of Aries' life lessons on their journey is about finding that inner peace. When an Aries is at peace with themselves, their energy has the power to change the game. Again, remember, they're initiators, they're also innovators. So if they're able to master that peace, they can change the game. This happens also when they are attuned to their passion and follow their own path. Aries people are here to innovate and pioneer. Again, you have to be a pioneer if you're the first zodiac sign. If you're the one to come out the gate, you have to be a pioneer. You have to be innovative. But they also must work on projects of value and focus on sustaining them in healthy relationships with others for longer periods of time. Again, they're so quick, they're out the gate, and they're not really always thinking. So that's kind of a part of their nature. But in order to be a masterful Aries, they have to begin to focus on projects that are value, and how to sustain those projects. Because again, I don't know if you guys have taken a look at the Aries. I did a video last year about Aries, the first house, and the planet Mars. And talking about that, I also kind of spoke about how they are the starters. Like they don't always finish things. They come in, they start them, and they keep going and keep starting things, and they don't finish them. But to become a master Aries, they have to really begin to focus on sustaining those projects and maintaining healthy relationships with others for a longer period of time as well. Their most valuable lesson is for them to learn how to direct their enormous drive. Again, Mars, that Martian energy is all about drive, is all about passion. It's all about that whole war aspect as well. But if they learn to direct their enormous drive towards the pursuit of helping others as well as for themselves, again, that helps them to become the game changers that they can ultimately be. Now let's talk a little bit about the Aries mind and the emotions, their emotions and their strength. Aries, again, I spoke a little bit earlier about them being quick-witted. Their minds are quick. They thrive on challenges. They are serial innovators. And this is where I go back when I said they start things. They're good with starting things. They can make new things all the time. Again, because they're at the beginning of the zodiac. They are the beginners, the starters, the initiators. Anything that takes fire is they start things, or they create things. So they are serial innovators and can give total attention to the moment. If you watch an Aries do something, and when they're really, really focused, man, their energy is so powerful. My little nephew, you give him something to like a toy, and it comes in pieces. If you just sit and watch him, he masterfully is so attentive in that moment to details, and he can put that thing together. And I sit there and look like, I don't know how he did that. I have no idea how he did that. And he's only 7. So imagine, if you're an adult who is in Aries, the things that you can accomplish by putting your mind to those things. Aries also has a tendency towards snap decisions, which are usually shrewd and discerning. They can be cruel, sarcastic, and sadistic with wordplay. So that's that other end of the pole for them. They can be cruel, sarcastic, and sadistic with wordplay. They also have a childlike naivety that makes them surprisingly vulnerable. So even being naive, they have that that ability to be really childlike, and that's kind of their vulnerability. They're vulnerable in that aspect, and hopefully there are people around them that see that childlike quality within them and don't demolish them for it, because that is their vulnerable or sensitive side. Aries is courageous. They're enterprising and a pioneer who values freedom and frank discussions. So if they can't be honest with you, they don't really want to talk to you. If you're going to be hurt by everything that they said, they can't really talk to you, because what happens is their discussion or conversation with you is limited, and they don't like being limited. They're generous. They're enthusiastic people who make things happen. They think through everything, dealing with their work or their play. They are very detailed and focused on everything that they do as far as work and play. They are the most focused people. They face problems head on. Of course, they symbolic of the ram. They often find innovative solutions. Now, the thing that they have to deal with regarding shadow, we all have a shadow side. We all come here to be able to integrate that shadow side and use that in a better way. So for the Aries, their Aries shadow is like its opponent of its opposite side sign, which is Libra. Let me say that again so that I don't get you guys confused. The Aries shadow side is like its opposite sign, which is the sign of Libra. They have difficulty saying no. So an Aries has, just like the Libra, has a hard time saying no. But their thing of it is they promise much and deliver little. And so if they can begin to learn to say no when need be, they won't be promising things that they really cannot deliver on. And so if you know a person like that, that does not have, they're not in Aries, they may have Aries in a part of their chart that you can see that side of them. Karma, their karma is, the Aryan karma comes from past selfishness and egocentricity. Again, that for being the first sign and being in the first house is all about the self. So it comes with a lot of ego. It also comes from a failure to consider the needs of others and an insensitivity to their feelings, which creates a present life karmic challenge of leadership without oppression and self-awareness and without self-absorption. So if they don't become self-absorbed or dealing with that self-awareness and, without being oppressing other people, they can kind of come into that karma and have a efficient or better way of dealing with that particular challenge that they mostly deal with, because it is a part of their karma. Now, we can also, let's talk about the Aries traditional correspondences. Now, we always talk about the crystals, the food, and the herbs that correspond with a particular sign. And so right now we're going to talk about those correspondences for Aries. Now, the crystals that correspond with Aries are amethyst, aquamarine, aventurine, bloodstone, carnelian, citrine, fire, agate, fire being ruled by Mars. So that's where that comes in, and garnet. The type of foods that correspond with Aries are hot, spicy, and strong tasting foods. Of course, they are ruled by the fiery planet Mars. Anything red, garlic, onions, capers, mustard, and cayenne. Now I watch my little 7-year-old nephew put hot sauce on noodles, and I'm looking at him like he's 7. But I understand that he likes hot things because, again, he is an Aries and he is ruled by the planet Mars. So, of course, they like anything red, hot and spicy and strong tasting foods. The herbs that correspond with the sign of Aries is milk thistle, hops, nettles, burdock root, cayenne, honeysuckle, and red clover. Now, these are all of the things that go along with the Aries journey. I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if you have not subscribed to my channel. Be sure that once you do subscribe, or if you have already subscribed, that you hit the bell so that you're notified when I post new videos. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to share this with your family and your friends, anyone that you know that is an Aries, and just share it with everybody, because again, we do have all of the signs in our chart. If you have not gotten your chart done yet, you can Google free natal chart or free birth chart, and there are a ton of different websites that you can put your date of birth and the time that you were born and the city that you were born in, and it will come up with your all of your natal chart and give you specifics about who you are as a person, so that you know how to come into your own in a space of more self-awareness. I love you guys again. Peace out.